So to your question around kind of what's the next steps after that, the superpowers that are kind of underneath this particular track, it goes down to risk appetite as well. 1 in 10 startups succeed and 9 out of 10 of them fail. So therefore, there's a very high failure rate here. Therefore, if you are quite loss averse, if you have quite a low risk appetite, this might not be a route for you. But if you haven't, that's this exciting thing. This is high stakes career strategy right here. The other thing you need is really strong decision making. You need to be able to make judgment calls. Sometimes you won't have all the data that's there. Sometimes you won't have a full set of information to make the best decision, but you've got to be able to make the best decision at the time with the information you have, because this is what keeps things going. This is how you keep moving forward. Once you get after the kind of initial startup phases, building people around you, whether that's advisors, whether that's board members, whether that's investors, whether that's staff around you, being able to lead other people in that direction, inspire other people is the other key thing that you need here. So a really good sense of leadership, understanding people, aligning people with what they are trying, what you're trying to achieve, and making sure that gives them the energy as well. And then the last of many, but I just kind of kept it to four for this particular example, is patience, research skills. Never stop, researching and trying to find out what that underlying problem is. Because, especially in tech, when you come from a technical background, it's very easy to just build stuff, but that's not the point here. Technology is a tool to be able to solve the problem, not just be something in itself. So it's that whole, if you have a hammer, everything's a nail. It looks like a nail problem.
Yeah, I fully agree with that. You see a lot of technical people building technology for the sake of building technology, and they lose track of anything to do with the customer or even anything to do with being a business. They never turn a penny. And of course, we're talking here about, it sounds to me like you're saying this is, if that's what appeals to you, you may start your own startup. But of course, you could also join a startup at different stages, either as a founder or one of the early employees, or even when it's a couple of years in. And there will be different decision points which point you towards which one you're going to go for.
Yeah, that's it. Loads of people do that. Kind of, you hear about founding engineers as a role. And at that point, it's maximum ambiguity, maximum risk, but at the same time, you do get to go in and you get to kind of share all those duties a little bit more. I think when you do your own startup, you kind of have to hold every single hat at some point or other, whether that's, customer service sometimes, whether that's marketing sometimes, finance, technology, you're kind of doing everything. Whereas if you join that little bit afterwards, you do get to refine down and specialize a little bit earlier, but there's probably will still be lots of hats to do. And it's quite exciting as well.
Mm-hmm. And of course, things like if work-life harmony is important to you, becoming a founder kind of rules that out, right? Because you're 24/7, you're founding the business and doing everything to do with it. Whereas if you join a big corporate, for example, you can reasonably do a 9 to 5 or an 8 to 6 and then have more of a personal life.
I don't think it's as black and white as that. I think you're going to be thinking about it 24/7, but you do need to be the most energized person in that room. You need to be the person that said that inspires everyone else and keeps everyone else super excited. So if you are so low on energy, that you can't keep yourself motivated, and in your personal life, there's friends, family, other things that kind of recharge you. It's important to make sure that you bring that energy every single day. So having, making sure that you do have that family around it, involving them as well, because they're part of the journey, whether they like it or not.
Yeah.
It's important to make sure that you do get some breaks, because that's also when those moments of inspiration come along. You keep battling against the problem for 6 hours straight. If you just go home, spend an hour or two watching something chilled on TV, and you might think, oh, that's a great idea, let's do this, but you
Yeah.
wouldn't have really got there unless you had taken a tiny break. But I do
Yeah.
completely agree about thinking about it 24/7. It's quite an obsessive mindset.
And it's amazing how the brain does work, isn't it? Because you can give it a problem and you can, as you say, struggle to work it out, go and do something completely different, switch off, and the brain goes, okay, I've got some space. And then you're just walking along the street, it goes, bing, there's the answer.
Yeah. It's the networking side as well, speaking to people, understanding things, being in touch with it. So You can go, if you go and have coffees with loads and loads of people, you end up super wired. And it's very, in terms of how you spend your time and how you invest your time, you can get, if it's a very important person, or it's somebody that's got lots of insights, loads for you to learn. It's a very useful place to put it. But to go a bit more broad and to make sure you're getting a wide view of what's happening, other things like listening to podcasts, reading blogs, reading publications, trying to absorb as much different information as possible. Sometimes that can be done whilst you're relaxing as well.
Yeah.